Hello, mysterious person behind the screen, and welcome back to another commentary with me and Isaac.
Hello there.
And this time we're back on Doctor Who, we're back on classic Doctor Who, and we're starting off with the Gunfighters. So, without further ado.
If you'd like to sync this up with your own DVD copy of The Gunfighters, put the episode to the start on Play All and press play in 3, 2, 1, go. Now, don't care what anyone says, this is an underrated gem in my opinion. I really like this story.
It's it's a lot of fun. I've been looking forward to doing this commentary because it, as a story, it is proper turn your brain off entertaining, I think.
It is, yeah.
And it's ambitious as all hell, considering that this was a kind of
we've
recreate
got
the Wild West.
in a studio.
Yeah, exactly.
And we've got horses in here as well.
We
I mean,
have.
though, then again, in the Ark, they actually got an elephant.
Yes, surprisingly they got enough. I mean, this is it. I guess we'll talk about it as the story goes along. But this is a part of season 3, which, as a season, is nuts. It's an insane season of TV, and it's so messy and so ridden
I
with
really
production changes and all sorts.
Yeah, I really admire season 3 because it basically says Doctor Who can be anything, and this story is the last of quite a few things. It's even though Innes Lloyd is credited as producer, this was commissioned under John Wiles and Donald Tosh, so Innes Lloyd and Jerry Davis had to go through with this. And it's also the last Doctor Who story to use individual titles for the episodes.
It is, which is it's sort of, it is the end of an era, and it's such a, its placement within the season, coming off of the Celestial Toymaker, which is another really experimental story
The War
filled
Machines
with
and
just
the 10th Planet.
yeah. It's.
I was just gonna say it kind of looks like the last time that Hartnell is having fun.
Oh, it is. Yeah, it really, and God, is he having fun in this?
Yeah. Where he ate a sweet and got a toothache, and I remember I first watched that on the Lost in Time DVD, and obviously I didn't know that the Celestial Toymaker was a 4-parter, so I actually thought it went on a bit longer. So when he took one of those sweets, I thought, oh my god, has the Toymaker poisoned him?
Well,
So
that's
you
it.
can imagine my surprise when I watched this story. I thought, oh, it's just a toothache.
Well, that's it. The ending of the Celestial Toymaker is so dramatic. He just bites it and he screams,
Yeah.
and it's just like, oh, what is happening? He's literally just taking a bite out of a sweet that's a bit too hard.
Yeah. And I'm going to come out and say it. Might as well get the elephant in the room out the way. The American accents are awful. They really are.
They are, but it adds to the whole. It adds to just the silliness of it all.
I'd say the only one who's actually, no, I'd say there's two. There's two actors in this who probably do good American accents. That's David Graham as Charlie the barman, because he's a voice actor himself, so he can change his voice pretty well. And also Shane Rimmer as Seth Harper, because Shane Rimmer was Canadian.
Yes, yeah, he was. So I know you mentioned Charlie the barman there. We will come on to him later because he gets a bigger goodbye than a lot of the companions this season.
Oh yeah, Charlie. I mean, some of the actors in this don't even try accents. I mean, I can't remember the Clanton's name, but one of them, I don't even know what type of accent it is. It kind of sounds like, I'm gonna get Doc Holiday. What accent is that?
I mean,
It sounds like
some
Australian, South African,
yeah,
English all in one.
yeah, right. Like so much of it feels like when you're in school and they ask you to in drama they ask you to read a script and you sort of don't know whether
Yeah,
they want you to do an accent or not, so you just sort of half do it. That's what it sounds like.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, I did an audition once where I had to do an American
Oh.
accent, and I did notice the casting director's notes that said accent pretty good. So I thought, oh, I've done
Oh,
something
nice.
right. Yeah, and there's only been two stories in Doctor Who that are set in the Wild West. It's this and a town called Mercy.
Yes, yeah, which is surprising, really, if you think about it. You know, I'm surprised that it's not tried
Yeah,
to do that before. More times, but
yeah. And also, it amazes me that they did the gunfight at the OK Corral before they did something like Robin Hood or William Shakespeare.
yeah, I'm
Yeah,
shocked at that. Yeah, because it's not one of those periods in history. It's not like one of those moments or battles in history that is iconic and everybody knows it. Um, so
yeah,
yeah,
because the actual gunfight itself lasted about a minute
yeah,
in real life. I mean, here's a fun fact for you. Johnny Ringo was not at the OK Corral gunfight. He died a year later.
Oh, okay. So this
Yep.
is okay. Well, again, adds to the whole thing of this story where it's just sort of take it with a pinch of salt and just have fun with Doctor Who and the Cowboys.
Yep. Yeah, I mean the Doctor getting mistaken for Doc Holliday is really great stuff. But yeah, despite the comedy in this, it is quite brutal with its action, particularly Charlie's death and the cliffhanger to episode 2 where they threaten to lynch Stephen. I mean, that is
Mm.
dark.
It does get dark. It does get very dark, and it's we're very much in that era of Doctor Who trying to break free of the historical formula because it was becoming. In fact, a year later they ditch it altogether. And I think this is sort of trying to do the classic kind of season 1 and 2 historical thing as well as something different by using the song and the comedy and everything. And yeah,
I mean, there are only two more historicals after this: the Smugglers and the Highlanders.
yeah,
So yeah,
exactly.
it's because Innes Lloyd didn't like historical stories and wanted more realistic and science fiction stories and an
Yeah,
alternative to the Daleks.
yeah, exactly. And I mean that's the thing, isn't it? When you talk about season 3 of Doctor Who, you got to talk about the battle, almost battle of the egos behind the scenes, right? Because you've got Innes Lloyd there. You've got the beef between John Wiles and William Hartnell. You've got new producers coming in, old producers leaving, but are still kind of overseeing certain ideas that they already commissioned. Um, actors threatening to leave, actors getting
Cast
sacked.
members changing. Yeah,
Yes, exactly. It's a
just
mess.
wow.
It's an absolute mess.
I mean,
But
it's the year. You could call it the year of the three producers. You had
mm,
Verity Lambert for the first two stories, John Wiles, then Innes Lloyd. Then again, Galaxy 4 and Mission to the Unknown were made as part of season 2, so if you want
yeah.
to count that, I don't know.
Yeah, you can. I mean, because this is the thing, right? The change from Galaxy 4 to the War Machines is nuts. It's a completely different show by the end of it.
Yeah, it's what I do like about season 3. It can be anything,
Mm,
you know.
yeah.
One week we're in 16th century France, trying to escape Huguenots. Next week we're on a spaceship taking the whole of humanity to a new planet.
Mm,
Next week we're in a omnipresent being domain,
yeah.
being forced to play his games. Yeah,
Yeah, and season 3 has this kind of air of mystery surrounding it as well, right? Because so much of it is missing, and so much of it hasn't been animated, so it's just got this wonderful sort of air of intrigue and mystery
that's
surrounding
true.
it.
Yeah,
It just feels like this kind of almost forbidden fruit in a way. Um,
it is. Yeah. The one person you will probably never get on Big Finish is not Christopher Eccleston, it's Jackie Lane.
yeah, I was shocked when she came back for that
Yeah,
50th anniversary party thing. Even if I was shocked that she did that.
I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be honest. Before I saw that, I didn't know she was still alive. I thought she had passed away.
Same, honestly, same.
Oh, oh. Yeah. I mean, to be fair, of course, I think she gave up acting and became. I think she became an actor's agent.
Yes,
So
yes.
obviously, and she doesn't really like doing publicity that much. So fair enough. I don't think she's ever been interviewed by anyone about her time on Doctor Who.
No, did the Mythmakers guys ever get to her, like the real time pictures guys, or?
I'm not too sure, but
Hmm.
I know Peter Purves wasn't even aware that she had filmed like uh that little message for Doctor Who the After Party.
Yeah. It was odd, like
Yeah,
seeing it because she's been so away from everything for years. Yeah.
yeah. Uh, Recreate the whole grandfather granddaughter relationship,
Mm.
and to be honest, I don't really see it because it's only mentioned once, and that's at the end of the massacre where she says where he says oh, doesn't she remind you of my granddaughter? And Stephen just says, I never met your granddaughter.
Well, well, that's the thing. Dodo is unfortunately a victim of all the stuff that was going behind the scenes at the time because she was literally just a part of this revolving door of companions. It was like,
Yeah,
oh, one actor's gone, get a new one in. Oh, we'll just write around it, and she was,
stories,
yeah,
the Savages and the War Machines. They're basically saying, out with.
yeah, yeah, exactly. And I just, yeah, and then like Dodo having it, she was supposed to have a really thick Liverpudlian accent, wasn't she, to start with? But that disappears quickly.
I mean, I mean, her accent does remind me of Samantha Briggs from the Faceless Ones
Yes,
because she has a bit of a Scouse accent in that, doesn't she? And she
yeah.
was asked if she would stay, if she would be a companion, but it did not happen.
No. Well, I'm thinking of things like there's that bit in the arc where she's running around, she's looking at the elephants and going, "Ee, look at him then," and just doing these really dodgy, like like stereotypically scouse lines and going, "Ee, me nose is running," and stuff like that. And then that just gets dropped like in the next
I
story.
think even yeah, because I think even the Doctor says, "Oh, don't speak in that filthy dialect."
Yeah, yeah. Oh, we're gonna have to do something about your English.
Oh God. Now, Anthony Jacobs, who plays Doc Holliday, was the dad of Matthew Jacobs, who wrote the TV movie.
Of course, yeah. I always forget about that. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and he even visited. I think he came to visit the set.
Oh,
Matthew Jacobs. Yeah.
oh, cool. So he would have been a really young kid at the time, I guess.
Yeah. The lowest ratings of any story ever. I think it got, what, 30%? That's low.
Something like that. Yes, it was not very popular.
Then again, here's a fun fact. Season 24 got a higher audience appreciation figure than season 12.
Really? Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, you've got to take into account B or something like that, or maybe it is down to viewing figures, because say if there's less viewing figures, there's probably more chance that they might agree on it and like it. Who knows? Yeah.
Yeah, that yeah. God, that's mental.
Yeah, that's it. That's the guy. Who? What accent is that? How about a little fancy shooting, huh?
Fancy shape.
Even though he wasn't the biggest fan of this story when he was making it.
Yeah.
I think he likes it a lot more nowadays.
Well, yeah, I know. I guess that is the thing. Time heals all wounds, right? And it would retrospectively
Yeah,
looking back, it's and this is one of the most fun stories in the season. So
yeah. I mean, yeah, just look at some of the previous stories like Dalek's Master Plan and the Massacre. They both end really dark
oh
ending.
God, yeah, Christ, they do.
Yeah, John Wiles had think yeah, he decided that enough was enough while he was making the Daleks master plan, because I think he just felt too limited by it, and he was stuck with Daleks master plan. He had no choice in it because that was commissioned by Verity Lambert.
Well, exactly. Yeah, he was stuck with ideas he didn't want to do. He had to deal with an actor that was becoming increasingly difficult to work with. It was just complete mess, and the whole the whole thing. I mean, this DVD does come with a great documentary about season 3 and how like messy it was, and
It does, yeah.
End of the Line, I think it's called.
That's it, yeah. And it does have the Tomorrow's Time feature on the First Doctor in the press, and
Yes,
one critic said, "Let's face it, Doctor Who only gets 12 million viewers when the Daleks are in it, and 7 or 8 million not."
yes, yeah.
I mean, 7 or 8 million, that's still pretty
I
good.
was gonna say it's still not bad, is it?
Yeah, yeah. Now, there has been, strong rumor that Galaxy 4 is going to be animated, which
Hmm.
I can see why, because it probably is pretty easy to animate. I'd say historicals are a lot harder because you've got more detailed sets, a lot of the time more characters, more detailed costumes as well.
Yeah, and also I think historicals wouldn't necessarily sell as well, either. Uh,
Yeah,
yeah,
because they don't have monsters in them, and you've also got to appeal to a younger audience that would probably see, for example, if they do Evil of the Daleks, if you put that giant Dalek Emperor on the DVD cover, kids will look at it and be like, "Oh, Daleks, I've got to buy that."
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah, and that's the thing. It's I can't imagine a kid nowadays sitting down excitedly to watch The Massacre, for example.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think I can't say his channel name. Stu Bagful, is that
Stu
it?
Bagful, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, he made an interesting point. He says, usually people are surprised when I predict what the next animation is going to be, but it's honestly common sense at this point because Base Under Siege stories are going to be a lot more simple to animate than something like Marco Polo.
Oh yeah, exactly. I think
Yeah, because
yeah.
if you look at something like Power of the Daleks, the sets are very basic. It's basically long corridors. Everyone's wearing overalls and
Mm.
things like that. So pretty simple.
Exactly, and yeah, if we're ever gonna get Marco Polo, which I don't know if we ever are, they better start working on it like straight away if they want to, like, because I imagine they'd want to meet the 60th anniversary, right? So yeah, I don't know if we're
Yeah,
ever gonna
fingers
get that.
crossed. I mean, did you know that the Walt Disney Company tried to make a film adaptation of Marco Polo?
I've heard of that before. I've never really looked into it though.
Yeah, I'd really have liked to have seen it. Yeah, I wonder if they would have added songs to it.
Oh God, yeah. I mean, it would have been interesting. It would
Yeah,
have
because
been.
I know because I know they plan to, obviously for the Peter Cushing films, they plan to do the chase, but I heard that Keys of Marinus might have been on the table to adapt.
Yeah, yeah. Would have been interesting.
Maybe leave out the bit where that man in the snow tries to sexually assault Barbara.
Well, yeah, maybe cat.
Seriously, watch the story again.
Yeah,
That's what happens.
there's a lot of shit
uh,
in there that that you've got to ignore.
yeah. I mean, I can remember watching The Web Planet recently, and at the end of it, I felt like Krusty the Clown. What the hell was that?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. How'd you say? I fucking love this cliffhanger. I think it's hilarious. I think it's just so
Yeah.
funny. Like
I mean, Steve
oh
even literally has to sing or he gets shot.
yeah.
And I freaking love the title for the episode 2, Don't Shoot the
Don't shoot
Pianist.
the
That is the
pianist.
best Doctor Who title ever.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's just so funny to me because like it's the physical. I'm so glad this exists because the physical comedy that we have in here, and
Yeah, me
the fact
too.
that Dodo suddenly becomes this really, really, really good piano
The
player.
master pianist. Yeah.
It's so funny.
Have you listened to The Myth Makers? Because I haven't. Because that's also written by Donald Cotton.
I've watched the loose cannon reconstruction, and I didn't enjoy it, and I'm sorry that's sacrilege to some people because people love that
Okay.
story, but I don't know whether it's just
Yeah.
because it's a comedy, you need the visuals for it. It just didn't.
True.
I just didn't. It just did not land for me at all.
I mean, that's fair. Yeah. It's a bit like also the Celestial Toymaker. A lot of people say it's hard for them to listen to it on audio
mm,
or watch the loose cannon reconstruction because it's very much a it's a physical piece because they've got to do all those
mm,
games and challenges. It'd be like watching Deadly Assassin episode 3 in still images.
yeah,
Not very interesting.
yeah. That's unfortunately the thing because the Celestial Toymaker as a story isn't that great, and I imagine a lot of the appeal of it would come from seeing this like ode to trippy 60s psychedelia that was the visuals, and when you take those out, it doesn't it's not actually that good of a story, so it's a shame.
Yeah, Jackie Lane is not actually playing the piano
No.
there. She's just miming.
Yeah. I mean, while we're here, what do you think of of the song?
It's fine. It's all right, I guess. I'll admit it is catchy, and sometimes I do find myself humming it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It it's so.
You know, like, I mean, are they trying to do a musical?
Well, yeah, this is the thing. I don't know what they're trying to do with it.
Not just one played over and over again.
Exactly, it's the same.
Like, I remember that rumor. I can remember a rumor being spread about Series 12 saying, "Oh, we're going to get a musical episode of Doctor Who." To be honest, I'd be completely up for that.
Oh, I would.
What if they landed on a planet where they all had to, where everyone had to communicate in singing? Just a thought.
I'd love it. I'd love it. And with Doctor Who, there's so many logical reasonings for it to work, that you could do. Yeah.
I love that. Me, but just a finger moves. Yeah, I know. I've seen quite a few fan reviews that aren't too kind to this story, but
Yeah.
yeah, Ian Levine said this story is an embarrassment and should never have been made.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, the thing is, it you can pick holes in it all you want, but I think a lot of people just do not like it when Doctor Who's silly, and this is a really silly story. So
Yeah. Yeah. That's the beauty of Doctor Who to me. It's amazing that let me think. A scene like "Nothing in the world can stop me now," and a scene where Donna Noble loses her memory in the most awful way possible. They're part of the same show.
yep, they're part of the same. Exactly right, and it's just, yeah. That's the thing. You don't if you don't like one story, the next one might surprise you. So
Exactly. Doctor Who every week is like a science experiment.
exactly.
Sometimes you can create great results and go eureka. Sometimes it blows up in your face and you think, let's try again.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, I do like that. The Clinton brothers, idiot. I mean, how did you?
Yeah, right. I thing is, and I of any doctor to be in this story, I love that it's Hartnell, because it is just this bumbling guy wandering around going, "Oh yes,
Oh
cowboys,
man, yeah.
yes, yes, hey, amongst all this gunfire and American accents, and he's just there because he wants to go to the dentist, and I find that hilarious.
Yep. I mean, the funny thing is, had things gone to plan, this would have been the new Doctor's first story because they
Yeah.
planned to write Hartnell out in the Celestial Toymaker.
Yes, because he goes invisible. So people were like, let's,
Yeah,
yeah,
and it's just a hand.
it's just a hand, yeah. So that was the production team were like, okay, if he's invisible, we can bring in a new one.
Yeah, I wonder why they eventually decided against it. Were they just like, oh, it's too much of a hassle, let's just keep William Hartnell? Or did Hartnell say, no, I'm not leaving?
I don't know. It's who know, like a lot of things with season 3, it's so it's up for anyone's guess, I guess. It's just so scattershot and
Yeah. It's also amazing that David Graham is still alive at the ripe old age of 95.
he is. He's still going strong. He is still going strong.
I mean, here's a fun fact. He voices Grandpa Pig on Peppa Pig.
Oh, does he? I did not know that.
Yeah, he did. Yeah. And also, I think he was in Thunderbirds as well.
Yeah, he's Parker, isn't he?
Yeah.
And I mean, he had worked on Doctor Who before this, right? Because he'd done Dalek voices, so this was just this wasn't
Yeah.
new.
Might be the only time he appears in person.
I think it is. Yeah, I think it is. Now, I still to this day cannot figure out whether the Doctor calling Wyatt Mr. Werp is a character thing or is it just Hartnell not being able to remember his name? Because I still can't figure out which is which.
I'd want to say it's a character thing.
Yeah.
But then again, Hartnell is known for saying, I prefer walking to any day. And he'd
And he
claiming. That's your Emperor's possibility.
We have been on a slight exploitation. Come along, drop this hairdryer or whatever it is. Billy Fluffs. Wonderful.
They are great, yeah. Here's a fun fact. Johnny Ringo, they originally wanted Patrick Troughton
Oh.
to play him.
Oh, wow. I mean, yeah. Wow.
I wonder, can he do an American accent?
Well, he does a Mexican accent in The Enemy of the World, and by doing a Mexican accent, I mean he just adds at the end of every word. But
That's true, yeah.
but so who knows?
Yeah, just going back to Dodo's accent. By now, it just seems to be like RP,
Yeah.
like received pronunciation. I think it's called. Like the Scouse accent has completely gone.
It's gone. It's completely gone. They got cold feet about that early on. It's just we've literally in the span of a couple of stories we've gone from me nose is running. Look at him then to now the RP standard.
I do wonder, was it trying to be quite topical with the Beatles and everything? Because they're at the height of their powers at this point.
Yeah, who knows? I mean, this is the thing. It's just, it's just so. It's really bizarre to me that you know you've got a character who you introduced as a young Scouse teenager, and then you kick her out in a few stories time with no fanfare to introduce new characters that are supposed to be young.
Yeah,
and
it's
cool.
It's such a shame about her exit. It's so Like the doctor says, when I count to 5, you'll wake up.
Yeah.
Like, doesn't he hypnotize her or something, basically, to just go and have her lie down? Can you imagine if that happened to Donna Noble, Stolen
Yeah.
Earth? Right, Donna, what I want you to do, I want you to go and I'm going to drop you off at home. You're going to lay down in bed and you're going to forget everything about me. Bye.
What's the thing? It's just she's not feeling well. She's having a lie down. She's a bit
Yeah.
ill. She's gonna live
I
over there
mean,
for a bit.
how hard? How hard would it have been just for her to get her on the street just to say, "Oh, doctor, I'm very sorry, but I'm going to stay here now. I want to be back home." Just say that. It's not that hard.
Yeah,
I
it's
mean,
yeah.
I suppose it balances out with. I suppose it balances a bit out with Mel in the 80s because she didn't get an introduction, a proper introduction anyway.
Yeah, true. That is true.
But I suppose Big Finish has Big Finish filled that gap?
Who knows? They filled all sorts of gaps. Any gap that's there to be filled, they
Well,
have done.
well, well. Funnily enough, Pip and Jane Baker did fill that gap for the novelization of the Ultimate Foe because Trial ends with the Sixth Doctor's being taken from Forest Beta, and he's not met Mel yet. So he takes where Mel is in her timeline and reunites her with his future self. It's just complicated.
Yeah, unnecessarily convoluted.
Then Stephen Moffat said, "Oh, you think a companion not getting a proper introduction or goodbye is messy? Wait till I introduce River Song."
Yeah. Nope. I don't know if you saw that there. There's a massive boom mic at the top of the screen.
Oh, yeah. It does kind of fall into that trap of the Doctor and the companions. They arrive. They don't really have much impact on events, but then again, they can't really because they've got to let history play out its course. Yeah. The only thing they have an impact on is when the Doctor gets mistaken for Doc Holliday, which is pretty. And
I mean, this story makes a big
so,
point. Oh, yeah, sorry, go on.
I was just gonna say that's such a weird name, Bat. Bat Masterson. Like
Batmaster.
that's just so weird. What were you gonna say?
This story makes a big point earlier on of the Doctor being like, "Oh, no, I never touch alcohol, but a glass of milk, and I should be only too delighted." So yeah, and then we come to Twice Upon a Time, and it's I'm sure there's a bit of brandy around here somewhere, you know.
Oh yeah. I wish people would stop giving me guns.
Yeah.
I only hit people over the head with shovels.
Yeah, I don't touch alcohol, but I'll happily smoke a good pipe. Woo!
I'll hit I'll hit people over the head with shovels, electrocute people, and activate a time destructor, but it will never carry a gun.
Never cruel or cowardly. It's just weird, like, what a format shift. Like, because it's not even a big change to the format. It's just randomly between scenes we're getting this song, which is I feel like isn't on the documentary accompanying this isn't there just a line of people going, yeah, not sure what we were thinking with that one.
Yeah, the song is just, it is weird.
It's fun.
And it's sung
It's
by Linda Barron, who was in, she popped up again in Enlightenment and Closing Time.
Yep, and obviously she's Auntie Mabel. Linda Barron is good old Auntie Mabel.
She is, yeah. So I remember when I first heard this, I thought, oh, it sounds familiar.
Come for a walk, come for a ride, come to the Last Dance Saloon.
That should have been it, yeah. I suppose his accent's okay. Anthony Jacobs.
Yeah.
I'd say the worst are probably the Clanton brothers, and I'd say Lawrence Payne, but then again, he doesn't even try an accent.
Yeah.
He just speaks normally.
Well, that's the thing. It's sort of like how you judge people who aren't even trying to do an accent.
The Doctor was wearing a cool.
Yeah.
Because that was, I remember when Doctor Who magazine did a feature on missing episodes. They showed the Doctor wearing a monocle, hands on lapels.
Yeah, I mean that's quite the monocle thing is quite it's become a sort of semi-iconic image for the first Doctor, isn't it? But he didn't actually wear it that much. Yeah, I must admit that I do lose a bit of interest in the story when, like, the last two parts, kind of.
Yeah, because I think the gunfight itself, it's actually shot very well, I think.
Oh yeah, I think
Though
so.
it doesn't make sense when they all start shooting at Doc, Wyatt, and Bat Masterson. They're clearly shooting at them, but they're not. But then, like 10 seconds afterwards, they just say scatter. Like they clearly should have been dead.
Yeah.
Unless they're terrible shots.
I keep thinking you're gonna say Batman every time you say his name.
I feel sorry for Charlie. He just doesn't want to get involved.
Yeah, Charlie should have been the new companion. That's the hill I'm dying on.
Yeah, and I love how. Yeah, and I love how there's a sign that says no
Yes.
shooting in the saloon, but no one pays attention to it.
No bugger listens to that.
Yeah, this is Shane. Shane.
Mm.
Oh, the bar does wobble balls on it. I mean, he does. Doc Holliday does look a bit like Doc Brown from Back to the Future 3 in that
he
outfit, the
does.
way he looks.
He does.
And Wyatt Earp looks a bit like Mad Dog Tannen.
Mad dog.
Hey, McFly!
He was fly. I hate it.
I will count to 10. 1! What's after 1? 2. 2! Yeah, I mean, I'll admit, I'm not that into westerns. But yeah, I think as Doctor Who's only done it twice, that it's kind of the rarity. So,
Yeah,
but it's amazing how it is from a period where westerns were pretty much everywhere during this time in cinema.
oh yeah, that's yeah. It's I'm not really into westerns either. But they were everywhere in this point. The 50s and 60s. Jesus, they
Yeah,
were
I
the
swear
yeah.
there's a I swear there's a channel that is dedicated to showing westerns 24/7 because my mom and dad always watch them on a weekend.
Same. You've got them on like TCM, right? And and
That's it, yeah.
movies for men.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if they were on their way out because of space, the whole space race, so people were getting more interested in science
Yeah.
fiction.
Yeah, well, in many ways, westerns are the superhero films that we have now. Um,
Definitely, yeah. Yeah. When you
and
got what 100 in 1 year.
yeah, and this is the thing. I don't think we're as saturated with superhero films as we were with westerns.
Yeah, because when cinemas were thriving,
Yeah.
I'd count what about 8 a year from different
Yeah.
studios. So yeah, compare that to what 100 in 1950 or something like that.
Yeah, it's if you actually look at how many were released, it really is insane.
It is, yeah. Yeah, again, this is such a brutal cliffhanger. They're threatening to hang Steve.
Oh yeah.
Don't think Mary Whitehouse was around at this point.
I can see it in my mind's eye.
I mean, the violence in, I think, Terror of the Autons and The Mind of Evil got so bad that I think it got discussed in the House of Commons.
It did. It did. Yes. That it's so funny to me. Like when you watch those stories now, that they cause debates about violence on TV.
Yeah, I mean, I think the first stories to kind of generate that sort of controversy were, I think, Macroterror and Tomb of the Cybermen.
Uh,
And
yeah.
have you seen the Who's Doctor Who documentary?
I haven't. I'm gonna watch it when I get to season 14 in my marathon.
Ah, okay. I mean, there is an entire section where they discuss is Doctor Who too frightening for children, and
Mm.
there's an interview on that set with Philip Hinchcliffe in 1977. He's at Pebble Mill, and he does answer criticisms that it leads to children wetting themselves at night and nightmares and things like that. And he says, to be honest, I wouldn't let anyone under 10 watch it, but unless they were accompanied by an adult.
Yeah, I mean and it's interesting that just changes over time, because I would argue that, you know, when you get to eras like, I don't know, season 24, you know, kids would love that, like kids who are like 6 or 7, because it's so colourful.
Yeah, it's bright, colourful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Red Kangs are best. I mean, speaking of season 24, the trailer they released for that looks pretty awesome.
Oh yeah, that trailer was
I mean,
hilarious.
I mean, when they announced the box set, I can't believe it was trending on Twitter.
Oh, I
That is
know.
amazing.
I can't believe we live
Yeah.
in a world where Delta and the Bannermen is going to be available on Blu-ray in like next month.
Yeah.
That is nuts to me.
I mean, Mark Harris said in an interview that Mark Harris said in an interview about cleaning up the audio and getting it for Blu-ray. He said, "I wouldn't even rule out Dolby Atmos
Oh
soundtracks for classic
Christ!
Doctor Who."
Oh my God! Can you imagine?
Yeah.
Oh, what?
I mean, I think the first TV show to have a Dolby Atmos soundtrack was Game of Thrones, because from season 5 onwards on the Blu-ray you could either listen to Dolby Digital or Dolby Atmos in
That's right.
7.1.
That's right. Yeah, because I know they started reissuing a lot of the old Blu-rays of Game of Thrones to include Dolby Atmos, didn't they?
I think so, yeah. I mean, he also said Delta and the Bannerman Part 1, because obviously we're getting extended editions,
Oh yeah.
runs about 5 minutes longer than the transmitted version.
Yeah. I can't wait for that.
I mean, if season 25 follows suit, because I know there was an extended VHS of Silver Nemesis, then it's a shame that Survival would be the only McCoy story not to get an alternate edit.
Yeah, same. I guess it was just material that was available, I guess, but I would certainly.
Yeah, because I've seen quite a lot of the recording footage,
Yeah.
the filming footage, and obviously because it's all shot on location, and a lot of it is in black and white, so obviously that would have.
Yes, yeah.
I half expect the characters just to look up and be like, "Who's doing that?" Pick him up gentle. He's gone kind of mental. Oh, that
He's
lyric is
gone
amazing.
kind of mental. That's just.
It's curtains for Charlie.
That's it. Charlie the
You
barman.
shouted his name and he spoke it out.
Oh,
I mean, yeah, you're right. He probably got an exit even better than Dodo. And I'd argue Ben and Polly as well.
Charlie the barman gets a full-on song dedicated to mourning him. Adric didn't even get that. Adric got a few lines at the start of Time Flight, and that was it.
Well, he did get that Earthshock episode 5. Whoa,
he
blimey, that was lucky. I mean, I'd really like to know who made Earthshock episode 5, because all it says is Adric, a lump of clay.
Yes, I that seems to be a weird bit of Doctor Who history. Yeah.
Yeah, just love how it's been included on DVDs and Blu-rays.
I
It's
know,
just
yeah.
amazing.
Also, the direction in this is pretty ambitious too. We've got a lot of like high angle shots, low angle shots. It's
Yeah,
pretty ambitious.
it was done by Rex Tucker, who
Yeah.
had things gone to plan, he could have been the very first producer of Doctor Who,
Oh, really?
or maybe if he was associate producer. Yeah, because I'm sure he's in the An Adventure in Space and Time documentary. Because I think he's in the scene where they're trying to cast the Doctor, and I think he says, "Oh, I'm looking after Doctor Who until the producer arrives." And Verity Lambert says, "No, you're looking at her."
Okay, that was him. Okay, cool. Huh, interesting.
I think he might have had a few disputes while he was making this story, and he's not credited for the final episode, so I don't know what happened.
Well, I don't know. Was that anything to do with William Hartnell, maybe?
Yeah, because there were a lot of directors coming in that he didn't get on with,
Yeah.
because I think Peter Purvis says in this commentary he didn't like the guy who did the Myth Makers, Michael Easton Smith.
Yes.
Yeah, I think not to throw shade at the two actors, but I'd say the two doctors who were the hardest to work with, probably William Hartnell and Tom Baker.
Yes. Yeah. Hartnell was more, I think, just his health and everything like that.
Yeah,
Tom Baker was a case of just, I think, it sounds so kind of harsh to say, but ego. He'd been on there for so long. He was just so,
yeah, because
yeah.
yeah, because he knew a lot of things by that point, and yeah, Anthony Ainley even said back in those days, Tom was the writer, the director, the producer, the
Yeah.
script editor. Tom did everything.
Yes, exactly. I mean,
I mean, Nightmare of Eden is a pretty bad example because apparently he grabbed the microphone, maybe the boom microphone, because he was getting so pissed off with Alan Bromley and said, "Can someone tell me what he's saying up there? I can't hear him."
oh God, bloody
Like,
hell.
wow.
I mean, that's the thing. This is the same man that wanted to have a talking cabbage as a companion, so.
I'd want that.
I'm
A talking cabbage.
shocked
Do
Big
it.
Finish haven't done anything with that.
Well, I mean, one of my favorite. It's not really an outtake because it seems like more of a parody than anything. How long, K9? Insufficient data. Yeah, you never fucking know the answer when it's important. I love that.
Yeah, and there's another actor, I think it's from Pirate Planet, when he's just going on this, he's just doing this big speech like techno babble, and at the end of it, he just goes, "Oh, fuck it."
And there's Sharda as well, where I think a member of the crew says, "So sorry, someone banged the door," and he just shouts, "Oh, who the fuck banged that door?"
Yeah.
Yeah, I do think Lawrence Payne is good as Johnny Ringo, but as said earlier, he doesn't even bother to try an
Yeah,
accent.
no.
I think he nearly lost an eye whilst performing on stage. I think he nearly lost it in a sword fight.
Oh, really? Christ.
Yeah, I think he was doing Macbeth. There was a sword fight and he nearly lost his eye.
God, bloody hell. Yeah, Katarina gets about 2 minutes of mourning in the Daleks' master plan, and
Oh yeah, she does. Yeah.
yeah, when we're now getting a whole song about Charlie the Barman.
Yep. Charlie gets more of an exit than Dodo.
Yep.
That's just sad. I mean, I've not listened to the Savages, but is Steven's exit pretty good? Is it worthy?
I think it is. It comes pretty much out of nowhere, but that's kind of part of the course of season 3. I still think it's a really good. It fits with his character.
Yeah.
Savages is a good story. It's underrated as hell. I think a lot of people hear the name and just think it's like a boring historical, but it's got a lot on its mind.
Yeah.
And I think
His name
oh
spoke it out loud. And the camera just lingers on his dead body and pulls away.
yeah.
Might as well put flowers on it.
Oh god.
And then when the Doctor and Stephen find him in the morning, they just say, "Oh, he's drunk a bit."
I mean, that's the thing. Forget about the Clara TARDIS. Get the Charlie the Barman TARDIS.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean, Clara's TARDIS is in the shape of a diner, and Charlie runs a bar, so
Yeah.
do it. I'll be going home the long way round. I'm in no hurry to get back to being shot by Johnny Bingo. And I've noticed this for seasons 2, 3, 4, and 5. In the penultimate story, a companion or two companions leave, and then in the next story, which is the final story of the season, a new companion is introduced. That is such a bizarre way to structure a season.
It is, isn't it?
Because Ian and Bob are leaving the chase. Stephen obviously leaves in the Savages. Ben and Polly leave in the Faceless Ones. Victoria leaves in Fury from the Deep. And then next story, it's a new companion. It's so weird.
It is odd. It is an odd thing to yeah. I love this. They come down the stairs. They come down the stairs and they walk towards the bar and they only notice him lying there when Stephen leans back and accidentally touches him.
Yeah, now they've no. Yeah. What did you see when you were at the top of the stairs?
I know. You would. They're like, Doctor, look, and it's like you would have seen that more clearly as you were approaching the bar in the first place.
Yeah, there seems to be like a recurring joke with Stephen. He tries to be the tough cowboy,
Yeah.
puts his hands on his hips, but it's just. But as soon as someone speaks to him, he just turns into a coward, and I think it's pretty funny.
Yes. Yeah.
Now I guarantee if they did what they did with Stephen now, have him play Morton Dill in the chase and then pop up in the very same story as a new companion, so many people, it'd have been like an Impossible Man storyline.
Oh, most likely.
He is not possible. He is not possible. How is he on the Empire State Building and on the planet Mechanus? He It's impossible.
It's impossible. A mystery wrapped into a shirt that's a little bit too tight.
That line just... Ugh. I hate it so much.
Yeah, it's not. It's yeah.
Yeah, Series 7B, what did they do to the 11th Doctor?
Oh God, I know.
They just made him a bit of a sex pest. I'm like, what?
Yeah, it's such a weird route to take his character. It's really bizarre, and like any charm is just gone.
Yeah, because I remember someone on Twitter did put, that line there. And that skirt a little too... Somebody did say, behold the worst moment in Doctor Who
Yeah,
history.
yeah, it's not. Yeah, yeah.
Warren is supposed to be Wyatt Earp's son.
Yeah.
Kind of looks like his brother. Look, he's really tall. Yeah, I'll admit this is a shortcoming of the production because of the small sets. It's when they say, "Oh, how are we going to get back to Tombstone?" I'm like, "Wait, you've left that town?"
Yes, I
Because
agree.
yeah, it's not shot in a very interesting or distinct way to make the towns look diff. It kind of looks like they've just walked across the street.
Yeah, you don't get a sense of geography, I think, is the problem. So there's no sense of progression, and it all feels a bit too sort of. You never feel like they're actually moving forward properly.
Did was it Tristan Carey who wrote this song?
Um,
Could be wrong.
I don't know. I think so. It might have been.
Well, I just realised there's no incidental music. All the
Oh no,
music is in this song, isn't it?
you're right.
Maybe for the whenever season 3 gets a
Yeah,
Blu-ray, maybe they'll turn this song into incidental music, and that'll be an option.
maybe they can write a score for it. That happened with the 1930s Dracula film, because that doesn't have music, but on the Blu-ray there's an
Ah,
option to
okay,
watch like a version of the film with music, with like Philip Glass composed a new score for it.
nice. I mean, Richard Hartley made new music for Mind Warp, so
Yeah,
I'm sure they could do it.
yeah.
I mean, I know it's too late for Revenge of the Cybermen now, but maybe for Death to the Daleks and the Silurians, you could make music,
Wah,
so
wah,
I don't have to listen
wah,
to
wah,
wah
wah, wah,
wah
wah, wah, wah.
wah wah na, na, and that stupid
Yeah.
and that yeah, just. Now I swear to God, I'm not making this up. Kerry Blyton, I think, wrote the music to Bananas in Pajamas.
Oh really? Oh, that's a cool fact.
Apparently, yeah. I could be wrong, but I'm sure I've seen that fact somewhere. I think it's the one playing Billy who has the unidentifiable accent. Wear them keys up. I'm gonna get Duck Holiday. I don't even think he could say Yahoo right. It was like Yahoo.
Yahoo!
Even even Warren Earp gets a song. It's curtains for Warren. They've come the gate. Oh,
Oh god.
why can't we get one for Dodo? It's curtains for Dodo. She went with Wotan.
She's got a headache.
And she ain't coming back.
Do 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 do. I will say one of my favourite Doctor Who episode titles is a title that I don't think ever made it to screen, and it was one of the episodes of the Mythmakers was going to be "Is there a Doctor in the Horse?" Because it was going to be the Trojan horse thing.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Should have made it to screen.
That would have been cool. I mean, it's a shame the original season 23 was cancelled because we would have gotten Yellow Fever and How to Cure It.
Yellow Fever and How to Cure It, yeah.
I mean, I'm dying to know what would that have to do with the Autons, the Master, and the Rani in Singapore.
Yeah. Who knows?
Well, the whole. I mean, I've seen footage of a convention with him and Colin Baker in 1984, and he was asked, "Have you heard anything about missing episodes returning?" And he says, "Well, I'm going location scouting to Singapore next month for an upcoming Doctor Who story, and I am going to be looking in the archives for any stories there."
Oh, wow. Gee, oh, God. Oh.
And that's so haunting now because that story never happens.
Yeah, that is really interesting. Yeah, God, bloody hell. Wonder if the production team had actually spent time there, they would have found anything.
I wonder, yeah. In fact, J&T did say, well, I've already got an idea for the 25th anniversary of Doctor Who. And it's going to be a special called The Six Doctors. Yeah. And that was in 1984.
God, at a point, how many multi-Doctor stories could they have squeezed out?
Yep.
Yeah, like you said earlier, this is one of the.
And once again, going back to Charlie, I was just gonna say, going back to Charlie, he gets pretty much a funeral scene.
Yep.
They cover his body up in a shroud.
They cover his body up in a shroud and sing the song again. But yeah, like you said earlier, this is one of the last times where he's having a blast, and you can see he's having a blast. You know, this is one of my favourite performances of his because he's just going full, like embracing the the little giggles and everything, and yeah, he's great in this.
Yeah, because in 10th Planet, he doesn't, even when he's in the episode, he doesn't really have much to do. But
Yeah.
I think that was deliberately written, so there wasn't too much strain on.
Yeah.
also season 3, I just realised it has no 6-parters. All of them are 4-parters, apart from Mission to the Unknown and Dalek's Master Plan.
Yeah.
That
Yeah,
is
yeah.
interesting.
Yeah, bloody hell.
Abolishing 6-parters before JNT did.
Yeah, yeah. I know it is quite refreshing actually. Actually, when I was watching it in the marathon, yeah.
Yeah, the last 6-parter was The Chase, and the one after that is Power of the Daleks.
Yeah, yeah.
Just imagine it. Wyatt Earp's just loading his gun. What can we do to make this scene more exciting? Add a song.
Put a song over it. That'll fix everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, and these crane shots of the set of it is pretty. It is quite ambitious, like I said earlier. It's admirable what they managed to do.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Yeah, it's particularly hard when you've got when you're working with multi cameras on
Yeah.
a pretty visual effects heavy series like Doctor Who, because
Mm.
um, yeah, directors were like, oh, it's great for dialogue scenes, but when you're doing a lot of visual effects, it's really hard.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, to be honest, from an actor's point of view, I prefer working on multi-camera because less retakes, because you've probably already got it. You've got a different angle somewhere else. Whereas when I've done single camera, you've got to say the line again, and you've got to wait until they set up the camera at a different angle again and again.
Well, of course, yeah. No, even yeah, from the point of view of like short films I've made and stuff, it's a tedious process. It is a tedious process. You have to.
It
It's a
is,
lot of repetition.
yeah.
It's a lot of repetition and repetition and repetition, and that's just the way things go. Sometimes it's just yeah.
Like that scene on The Simpsons. We've got to do the Jimmy Ninja scene again, Millhouse, but we already did it. It took 7 hours, but we did it. It's done. I mean, the famous "A Happy Christmas to all of you at home." That was an ad lib, wasn't it, by Hartnell?
Yes, apparently it was. Yeah,
What I've heard.
yeah.
Yeah, because and obviously they couldn't cut it out or change it because everything had to be be done in one take. If you flubbed over your line, you keep going, and there's no time for retakes.
No, yeah, that's kind of yeah, and it leads to some of the best moments I think of Hartnell's Doctor when he does fluff a line because it feels so natural. It really does feel so natural and like this guy's just been around for so long.
And Dodo's not a very popular companion, is she?
No, and I don't. A lot of that is just because she doesn't really have a personality to her, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, she was only in what, 5 stories, and obviously, quite a few of those are missing. I mean, yeah, hold on. The Art the Celestial Toymaker Gunfighter sound. Yeah, she's only in 5 stories.
Yeah, only in 5 stories, and yeah. I mean, I don't know it.
Well, 4.5 because she leaves in the middle of the War Machines.
Yeah, exactly. um, it's not Jackie Lane's fault. It's no one's. It's just the fact that she was there, just amongst this revolving door of companions, and unfortunately, the show's attitude was just to get a new one in, get a new one out, in out, and
Yeah, because Stephen is probably my favourite First Doctor companion, because a lot of the time the show, particularly during Dalek's Master Plan and the Massacre, the show fell onto his shoulders. It might as well have
oh
been
yeah,
called Stephen Taylor.
yeah, it gave him a lot to do. I mean, for me, like the Hartnell era, you can't beat Ian and Barbara for me. That just that is this era of the show, but yeah, it's just I like Stephen a lot. I do like Stephen a lot.
I mean, yeah. I mean, it's a shame in the Sarah Jane Adventures, Dodo didn't get a mention of what she's up to.
I mean,
What did she?
I don't know if if you know what happened in the expanded universe stuff or not, but yeah.
Um, Go on.
So basically, I think somebody didn't like Dodo very much because she got PTSD and she died quite
Oh,
quickly, I think from a drug overdose or something. Um it just
what?
goes really dark.
That's awful.
Let me look this up because it goes really, really
Oh my
dark. I think somebody who was writing the
Yeah,
expanded universe just uh did not like the character.
that's just that's just mean.
Yeah, let
Oh,
me try and
I
find
mean,
it.
she's left behind in the '60s, so
Well, yes.
maybe that's why. I mean, yeah, she could have gotten a backstory in the Sarah Jane Adventures saying, "There's a woman called Dodo in Liverpool. What'd she be doing? Oh, I know. She runs a nightclub.
Yes.
After being taken to the nightclub by Polly and the War Machine, she decides to run her own.
Yeah, so Dodo began suffering from blackouts and was repeatedly hospitalized as a result before being sent to a string of psychiatric hospitals. Um, when she oh god. All right, trigger warning for anyone watching. There's going to be talks of sexual assault now. When she attempted to leave this institution, She was put in a mixed-sex ward for serious cases and accidentally killed a fellow patient in self-defense when he tried to rape her.
God, that's awful.
Yep, and blah, blah, blah. Lots of things happen.
Who wrote that?
Yep, so lots of things happen, and then eventually she falls in love with someone, gets pregnant, and before anything can happen, she gets shot and killed. So
What?
So yeah, family show, everybody.
I mean, Russell T Davies could have fixed that if he just gave her a line in the Sarah Jane Adventures.
Yes, I mean, to be fair, I don't think all that stuff's canon now. I think because in the farewell Sarah Jane thing, they do say she's at the
I'm not
funeral.
accepting that as canon.
No, I'm not accepting it as canon either. But like in
Oh yeah, they do.
Yeah, they say she's at the funeral, so I guess she couldn't have died then. So I guess take it as that's not the actual fate of Dodo. But Christ, someone was having a dark day when they wrote that.
I mean, I'm not against Doctor Who doing dark stuff, but there's a difference between being dark and being completely morbid and perverse.
Yes, yeah. It's alright being dark, but having Dodo get sent to a psychiatric ward and then raped is a bit too dark.
Just that is awful.
It really is.
I think I prefer the non-exit now. This kind of looks like it was shot on film.
It probably was. Yes.
Yeah, because I think of all the gunshots.
Yeah. Yeah, because gunshots messed with studio cameras.
I think fight scenes were typically shot on film.
Yeah, they were, and also later on when we get into the colour era, especially every time a gunshot goes off, you'll notice the screen flickers because it's a result of certain things with the videotape. It just messed with the studio cameras for some reason.
I mean, I reckon the Savages could be quite easy to animate, maybe.
Possibly, yeah. Yeah, it is a really good story. It is underrated. I think it'd get a new appraisal if it were animated.
I mean, it's written by Ian Stewart Black, who did the Macra Terror and the War Machine. And yeah, he had a pretty good track record when it came to Doctor
Who. And it's a real turning point for the first Doctor's character because it's you really like when he begins, you would think that the first Doctor would kind of sympathise with the villains in the story and actually join them. Like the Doctor of Unearthly Child would probably join the villains in that, but
Oh wow.
yeah, because their scheme is like not evil, but it's bad, and it's one of those things that the Doctor I could see joining them. The early first Doctor, but he straight up tells them. They're like, oh, you would oppose us then? He goes, absolutely, just as I oppose the Daleks or any other threat to common humanity. And it's like, okay, why he has changed.
I'll point this out as well. The Clantons all fire more than at least 6 times, and you never see them reload.
No, that's it. Yeah.
Oh well, that would have been boring.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. You're meant to die a year later.
Time can be rewritten.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, he was found. Johnny Ringo was found a year after the gunfight, dead with a gunshot wound in his head.
Oh, bloody hell. I'm gonna get Doc Holiday.
Oh, Christ. I'm gonna get Doc Holiday.
Die.
Oh. Can we try that again? It's 5 minutes to 10. We've got time. All right. Yeah, plus he's doing that weird thing with the barrel of the gun. Why is he doing that? Yeah, surely the recoil would just happen again naturally.
Yeah.
I mean, I've never fired a real gun, so maybe it is like that. I mean, there's no blood, of course, but yeah, it is surprisingly brutal.
Yeah, it is quite brutal. There's a lot of dead bodies. A lot of dead bodies.
They'll take a turn to shoot him, like, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do like that about Doc Holliday in this. He has to decide whether or not to run or fight, and yeah, he's still a wanted man by the end. He's still a rogue. He
Yeah.
may have done the right thing, but I probably not.
Yeah.
I'm surprised the doctor doesn't say, "Oh, it's a madhouse. It's full of Americans."
Oh God. Oh no.
That line in the Dalek Master Plan, like, yikes.
Yeah. Yikes. So interesting. The next
The only
episode.
footage. Yeah, just gonna say the only footage we probably have of the savages.
Most likely, yeah. I think there's a few 8mm clips out there, but not many.
Oh yeah, there is a few clips. Yeah,
Yeah. And interestingly, it says Doctor Who and the Savages, because obviously the Savages itself is the first story without individual episode titles. So, yeah.
it is. Yeah, yeah. Honestly, the Gunfighters. Me, it's a lot of fun to watch, and as we said before, it's the end of an era.
Mm. It is a lot of fun. It really is nuts, and it's so weird and out there, but it also is so funny and entertaining, and you can kind of feel the enthusiasm from everyone working on it, I think. So yeah,
Yeah, I'd say as a black comedy, it does work pretty well because
yeah.
obviously, like Charlie's death, that's so dark and morbid,
Oh, it
but
is, yeah.
it's kind of funny.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, it's underrated. It's underrated, I think, because people like to crap on it a lot, and I don't think it's deserved. I think it is enjoyable. It's not
If
perfect,
you
but
get
it's
if you
fun.
get past the naff American accents, it's a lot of fun.
Yes, yeah, exactly, yeah. So I hope you all enjoyed the commentary to the Gunfighters, everyone. We will be back next week. What will we be doing next week?
Uh, well, we'll be back with a Troughton story, but it's your choice to pick.
Oh, have I not?
What
Oh,
are we doing?
we are doing the Mind Robber next week. I thought I told you. Oh, maybe I hadn't. Then that's me losing my mind.
Oh yeah, yeah. We will be doing the Mind Robber. Yes.
uh, so look
Yep.
forward to that
We'll
one.
be back with more Doctor Who with Troughton, the Mind Robber.
The Mind Robber, yeah. So look forward to that one next week. In the meantime, go subscribe to Isaac's channel, and we will see you next time.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.